Hello and welcome to this little tutorial thingy. So a while ago I painted this painting, and I figured I might as well make a video where I'm going to talk about a little bit about the evolution and kind of how it came to be in layers. So luckily I saved a lot of my progress in iterations on different layers. So I'm just going to go back in time and explain to you a little bit about my progress over time. So let's go back, and there we go. So initially I had like a week time, and I thought, I'm just going to make a very large, very epic painting. That was the initial idea, and it was going to be a battle, obviously, because I love battles and stuff. And it would have a fantasy setting, like over the top, complete fantasy. And I just started with the idea of I had painted this like a couple of days before the this new painting, and I really like this little. It's really random, but I like this guy right here, way at the back, totally, you know, irrelevant to the painting, but I kind of liked the silhouette. I kind of liked the pose and stuff. And what I did was I just copied it. And kind of really shittily adjusted the colors and stuff. I started to get an idea, just roughly on paper. As you can see, this is basically what I had in the beginning. It's tilted and smaller because I cropped my image later on in the process. Right here you can see that it's actually, untilted, but the first few layers are going to be skewed like that. So yeah, basically I was going to have a guy, a monster, running through a ball of fire, in this really mayhem battle scene, with smoke obviously behind the fire, and a couple more of those monsters next to the main focal point here. So I started painting in this layer, in this step. I put in the face of this painting and kind of overlaid it roughly just to get some detail at all. And I really roughly sketched a couple of guys here. Just some poses, just some ideas. No reference, no nothing, just purely sketching ideas. Very big decisions in these first few steps are being made. So you have a guy like calling out some dude with a shield and flames kind of being thrown off of the shield, and then a guy with the throwing axe, and his hand will kind of reach out towards the flames to protect his face. Obviously the archer on top of the monster thingy, and yeah, so the general idea was already established at this point, and I'm just gonna kind of, in the first few layers, I'm just gonna kind of build on that. So I added some atmosphere effects, especially with the fire. You want to add some soft orange light all over the place. Some scribbly guys. Really, just this is so rough, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't look good. You're just trying to establish an image. So more effects. Just some painting some fire. Very small adjustments. Here I added the big smoke cloud to get some more variation in that background. So it's basically one hue. If you look at it, it's pretty boring. The elf does pop quite well, but I did want to kind of break that up with the cool smoke silhouette. More light effects to really bring it out. As you can see, I keep this black layer on top with blending mode set to saturation, so I can check my values like that. And right now it's pretty boring. Most of this is not nearly black, and the lightest is not nearly white. So I can show you that actually. This would be white and black, so I'm not pushing my values at all right now. And that's what I actually did in the next layer, is I started pushing my values. As you can see, I darkened up the foreground, and I've brightened up my brightest in the background. Okay, so now I'm pulling it horizontal. This is a pretty big step because I started using reference here. I actually painted the elf pretty close to the finish, and this dwarf and this dwarf. So that's definitely giving me a much better idea of the final quality that I'm going for, and so yeah, it's a pretty big step right there. You can see that I tilted it and it enlarged the canvas so that the top of this elf wasn't gonna actually touch the top of the painting, because that's just weird. So I'm giving it some breathing room here. That's primarily why I did that, and the tilt was just more dramatic this way. So then a really big step, again, sometimes I didn't save my iterations, so primarily as I notice on the fire here and the background. So yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to get this fire right, and you're going to see it change all over the place constantly. I nailed the background kind of really basic. It's just one value almost, this on this. So that's pretty easy, just silhouettes, and it really adds to the atmospheric effect of the jungle. What else did I add in this particular layer? Not much, just generally just painting out some forms. I didn't use much reference for this monster in the background, but I did paint him out in that layer. And let's move forward here. Clean it up a little bit over here. Just generally just cleaning up. I added the bow, which isn't difficult, and what I noticed is that I painted this guy to pretty much close to finish. I didn't use reference for this guy again. Just so far, this guy, and this guy are painted with reference, heavy reference, and I did use a bunch of reference for this, but I'm going to show you that in the end. So I repainted the face of the monster. Again, this is a pretty huge change here, because I did 3 characters in one layer. So I changed the face because it was really weird, like looking up to whatever, and the mouth pretty undefined, like a blob. If you can see, there's not much structure right now, so I added some structure here, made it a little bit more realistic, if you will, and I made him look towards here, which is definitely going to help the composition, because you're going to look here, you're going to look here, and then you're going to actually follow the eyes of this, follow the eyes of what you're looking at, because people want to see what other people are looking at. And yeah, let's see here. Whoops. So the characters, I did definitely take some reference for these guys. What I do with these characters is I did them one by one, and I sketched out just black and white on a separate layer, sketch out the character like that, blah blah blah, and then I would paint on top of that and get rid of my sketch completely. And I did this over and over for every single character in the painting. I added another character because there was a weird void here, and this one wasn't planned at all. I just kind of literally just decided that because of the void that was right here. There's nothing going on here, so I had to add a character. And this one was kind of special because I actually sketched it in on paper with a pencil, and I scanned it and then used that as a sketch. Interestingly enough, no particular reason, I was just sketching, and suddenly I realized that it could actually fit into the picture, and I did end up scanning it and stuff. Let's see, we got this guy added as well, same thing, just kind of like a weird void, and it needed to be there. Progress. Here we got just a bunch cleaning up, filling up this gap with dark, and this very obscure little dwarf right here. You probably never noticed him because he's so low in value. He's basically just almost a black blob, and that's exactly what I wanted, because towards the center we want attention here with the fire and stuff, and then towards here you got the black on the background, which is lighter, so the elf is popping out a lot, and then the dwarves are basically fading out towards the corners. So the focal point is definitely way in the middle. I really spent a lot of time trying to think about that and stuff. So the fire was a big pain in the ass, and I definitely used some images here and there, especially on this corner. So you got the shield here, like that, which is kind of fending off flames. And I tried to paint it a couple of times, and it just didn't really turn out to be that great. So in the end, I just kind of used a picture and worked with that. You can see this little bit is still literally a part of a picture, but most of it was painted away. Here we have mostly just scribbly little guys here, just the army guys that I painted out. That was a big pain, but it has to happen, so I did it. Moved the monster here away because it was way too close to the focal point. It was kind of weird. You had this weird, area of nothingness, so I moved it over, scaled it down as well. Same thing here, scaled it down a little. And the fire was changed too. First I did the arms like this, and it just wasn't working out. I really messed around a lot with the arms, but sometimes you just have to make very bold decisions, and I just got rid of it and painted it again, and that's the result, which is a little bit more, it feels a lot better if you ask me. And again, another bold decision at the very end of this painting is that I actually flipped my main focal point so that it's looking at this bit instead of this bit, because in the end I realized that if I'm gonna lead the eye towards a corner, I had to decide which one is cooler, kind of like that, and I went like, yeah, definitely this side is cooler. So I flipped it, and it feels a lot better to me. In the end, in the ending later, just some cleaning up, and that's basically it. That's the painting. I have a few more layers to talk about here, though. Maybe some interesting stuff for people who want to see what goes on behind the screen, basically. Is when I'm painting. This particular painting took me about a week, I think. Like I said, I keep giving myself like phases of criticism. So I actually make a layer like this or like this, and I'll doodle on top with a brush. I'll circle red stuff that's not good, that sucks, and I'll circle green stuff that's pretty good that I can keep. I'll actually make a lot of notes, like this bit needs some details, and I'm gonna sketch a little guy here, and then blah blah blah, and like all these little army dudes that need to be painted, and I'll do that on a layer, and actually make notes for myself. Just sit, stop painting for a little while, and just 10 minutes, just look at it and give yourself, be your own art director. And it's pretty hard to do that at first, but eventually you do kind of get used to it, and you really, you have to really be harsh on yourself. And that's going to push you to the next level, as they say. I got a few more sketches, I guess, here that survived somehow. I can't seem Oh, it's an overlay layer. So here's a sketch example. One of the layers that wasn't deleted. Usually I'll delete them, but apparently this one I saved. So that's the sketch, and I'll just start painting on top. Eventually the sketch disappears, and I'll just continue painting like this. Here's another quick phase. So I make kind of notes to myself. Probably doesn't make sense to much people. You know, it's kind of like my own language. And we got a male layer, so what I did was just draw a little circle like this, and then just copy it and start doing some Photoshop wizardry, and eventually get like a chainmail. And I'll put this on the top of my painting, just hide it, and whenever I need it, I'll actually use it inside the painting by warping and stuff. So I just copy it and start warping it towards what I need, what kind of shape that's necessary, just to add texture and stuff. You could just use pictures as well, photo material, but for this particular case I just needed some quick rings. There's another group of patterns here. Same thing, this is for the flag. I keep them separate, and then when I'm done designing them, I guess, I just copy them and start, you know, deforming however I need. So that's that. And last but not least is my ref layer. So during the painting of this piece, I took a lot of pictures. Over and over, just constantly. Whenever I'm doing a character and I got stuck, I would take a picture, and that's quite a lot of the times. And that's one of the remaining layers. So I took pictures of my arms, started really roughly manipulating them because I couldn't get the arms right on this beast. The older version, that is, like this. As you can see, it's very similar. I set up my room to have similar lighting to what I needed, so I pretended to be this creature, and I'd actually put the light source behind and all around me by just kind of manipulating my computer screens to be light sources and having a few light bulbs around. You can really easily kind of fake your scene, I guess. Same thing here for the characters. I did use quite a bit of picture material for posing, so you can see that it's very similar. And you can see my screen right here. This is my screen that I use as a light source. I actually literally went like this on my screen, full screen, and then up the brightness of my monitor a lot. And that basically gave me a light source that was literally this color. So yeah, just take pictures and stuff. It's gonna help you an immense amount. Same thing here. Took a picture with some kind of weird sword in my hand, and eventually I used it for that guy with a flag in his hand. Same thing for the elf. The pose on the elf was, you know, you can see the difference basically. I can show you exactly what reference does. This is what I had on the elf just from mind, and then suddenly reference. This is basically the best way I can possibly show you how important reference is. You know, this is the idea, this is the completion. By taking pictures, stuff like that, just really putting time in it and making it happen. Yeah, that's basically it for this piece. It was a lot of work, but I definitely enjoyed it, and it really made me realize just how important reference is. So yeah, that's about it. Really, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something here. And yeah, like I said in the other video that I uploaded at the same time, I'm going to start making more videos, and I'm going to record some more actual painting rather than going through the layers here. I'm going to do some actual, recording. I'll probably fast forward it and then narrate on top of that, but I might actually do some real-time stuff as well. I'm not sure. If you have any ideas, just comment, no problem. If you have any ideas about what you would like to see, what kind of method, would you like to see fast forwarded? Would you like to see more of this, like layer stuff? Would you like to see more real-time painting or anything else? Just comment, no problem. And yeah, thanks for watching, and goodbye.